Neurodivergence test. Yep, still there. Because why wouldn't we still be here? And bonus points if your reaction to hearing this sound or other sounds is, you know, because we like doing like little happy wiggles, and if a noise hits right, you just gotta do the wiggle. Okay, you just have to. And if you also feel like you have to, welcome, you know? Hello baby queers and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing some neurodivergent TikToks again, because we can, and they're fun and relatable. And at least if that's you, again, welcome. If you're new here, you don't know the drill yet, but before each video, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll check out some more TikToks. Are you hydrated? Good. Let's go.
The only actual problem with me and everyone I know being gay and autistic is that not a single one of us has both a driver's license and a car. How the fuck are we supposed to get to Michael's Arts and Crafts Supply Superstore?
Okay, get in loser, we're going shopping. Because somehow I managed to be queer and neurodivergent and have a driver's license and a car. Somehow. I don't know how, because honestly I didn't even want to do my driver's license. Because no. Just no, I wasn't even like particularly scared. I just knew I didn't want to do it and I couldn't quite pinpoint how, but my parents made me, and I'm honestly kinda glad they did, because otherwise I'd be right there with you and wouldn't know how to get to the arts and crafts store. Which might be a problem, you know? So somehow we managed, but honestly as long as one of you has a car and someone else has a driver's license, you'll somehow manage, because otherwise you're gonna have to bring that shit on buses or trains, and that's gonna be kinda difficult, because then you kinda have to limit the things you get at the arts and crafts store.
Some people need to mask not having autism. Like, instead of telling me about the weather, could you pretend to have a favorite lizard?
And again, it doesn't even have to be a lizard. But imagine not being super passionate about something, or just utterly in love with something. Like, how do you live? How do you, like, what do you think about when you don't really have anything else to think about? Are you trying to not think about the things you're thinking about? Like, how do you not have like a go-to thing that engulfs your brain so much that it distracts you? And by the way, it's really sad if it doesn't work, even if you have such a thing, I know, but how do you not? Because do I personally have a favorite lizard? No. Do I want to talk about the weather? Absolutely not. I'd rather you like show me a bunch of your favorite lizards so I can pick a favorite lizard for myself, you know? That sounds way more fun.
Hey, it's Kofi, and here are some accommodations I have for myself at home for my autism. First, let's start with the bathroom. I have these wrist puffs to put on my wrists when I wash my face and brush my teeth, because I hate the feeling of the water running down my arms. I've talked about this. I have an extra large shower cap so that I can fit it over my hair and my headphones, so that I can listen to music in the shower instead of hearing the water run, because that's not a great noise for me. I also have a shower speaker in my bathroom for the same issue. Next, in my hallway, I have a whiteboard to help me remember the tasks I need to do. Makes things a lot easier so that I can write down things like my chores and what I need to do next. I need to see it, or it's not on my list of things to do. Next is my room, where I've kept something called my meltdown box, and I have extra earplugs. I have all kinds of stim toys for different issues. I've got some journals. I have some comforting letters from my loved ones. I have anything I'd really need. Some strong gum to stim with, and my favorite rain audio sleeping thing. This is my emotions wheel. I have multiple ones printed out so that I can always look at the wall if I need to identify an emotion real quick. I have these everywhere. Next up is the kitchen cabinets, where I have some felt stoppers. Stops it from that slamming noise. As for the living room, I pretty much have a box of stim toys at every corner. Candles readily available for when I need to cover a different smell that I hate. Some peppermint oil in case there's a smell I hate. Some extra long gloves for when I need to wash the dishes or cook something. And that's about all I can think of to show you.
And honestly, this is probably not everything, because there are, I think, little things we do every day without even like noticing that we've like kind of grown accustomed to doing or like having around. You know, because yeah, honestly, if you don't have like physical reminders, how do you remember to do things? Like when my hair was longer, because right now it wouldn't work, my hair isn't long enough again, but when I used to have long hair, I had a hair tie right next to my toothbrush, so I would remember to wash my face, because otherwise I would never wash my face, because then it's like, having a wet face is bad enough as it is, but having wet hair is worse. You know, did it work perfectly? No. Did I remember to wash my face every day? Absolutely not. You know, but it helped. Because I figured if I just have it somewhere else in the bathroom even, or in a different room, it wasn't gonna get done. Gloves for dishwashing, honestly, have been such a big help. You know, because then you can't feel everything in the water, you know? So honestly, as silly as these things might seem, because if you're like me, you kind of keep thinking, it's like, oh, it's fine, you know, just do the thing, it's fine, you don't need the gloves. Well, you do. You really do. And why wouldn't you make it easier for yourself, you know?
Hello, I'm an actually autistic person, and here are some of the most unhinged things people have said to me about my autism diagnosis. Number 1, I don't think you're autistic, I think you're just weird. Where do you think the weird comes from, Sharon? Do you think I obsess over sharks for fun? I mean, it is fun, but still. Number 2, you're faking autism and I can tell. Oh really, Bob? You can tell from a 30-second video that I'm faking my autism? Well, I can tell from the hesitation in your wife's smile that you've never given her an orgasm, so how about that, Bob? Number 3, you're not autistic, you're just an anime kid. As if those two things aren't synonymous, Sharon! Thank you, this has been unhinged things that people have said to me about my autism diagnosis.
I think she captioned it with, sorry to anyone named Sharon or Bob, but yeah. Honestly, why are people like this? Because yeah, especially on the internet, it's kind of easy to present yourself a certain way, and maybe hide the things that you don't think are ideal about yourself. But you're aware, with all the stigma surrounding autism, or ADHD, or a lot of things like these, that people aren't gonna... I mean, listen, yeah, sure, no, of course it has happened, but you know, most people, when they say they're autistic, or they have ADHD, or they're bipolar, they're not doing this for attention. Because getting attention on the internet might be easy enough as it is. You know, you don't really need to say something that's gonna get you this much hate. You know, that's just not a very smart choice, so yeah, most people would never do this. But guess what? Someone coming online and behaving different than the one autistic person you know, which is probably like your 4-year-old cousin who's obsessed with his toy trucks or something. Obviously, they're gonna behave differently than an adult in a short video on the internet, you know? So yeah, we're not just saying this for attention, we're not just faking it or anything. Why are people like this?
Do I need to call a priest?
Why? Did you see something?
No, but it sure looks like you did, unless you're just dramatically pointing at a pile of dirty laundry.
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Do I bother asking?
Soon?
I'm gonna move that pile of dirty laundry with your mind. I mean, technically, we move everything with our minds, but no, I saw this ADHD tip that if you point at the thing that you need to do, eventually your brain will just get annoyed enough and you'll be motivated to do it. I'm still on the fact that you said technically we move everything with our minds. And my arm hurts, so I'm just gonna do it.
I found this video a while ago. It's been a couple of weeks. I have not yet tried the tip, but then again I also forgot about it again. Because why wouldn't my brain instantly forget something? But I still really very much want to try this, because it just literally seems like it would work. You know, it feels like one of those things that if you overuse it, it will stop working, because at some point your brain's just gonna be like, you know what, just put the arm down. It's fine, you know, it's starting to hurt, just put your arm down. But if you just use it occasionally for things like these, it might actually work really well. Because then you're just sitting there with your arm out, pointing at a random thing like a pile of laundry. And that's probably gonna be frustrating enough at some point, so I really need to try this.
Hyper focus, I am doing all the things. I am a productive goddess. I would rather yeet myself into the sun than do a single productivity today. I can do anything. I don't have executive dysfunction. I am just a silly goose. I can't believe it. Apparently, I have an ADA recognized disability. Reorganized my entire kitchen and called my doctor and paid my taxes. When will my motivation return from the war?
And you never know what you're gonna end up with that day, you know? And some days, the day starts out so good, but then like a little thing goes wrong and it all falls into pieces. You know, like this one post that's like, I'm okay, but it's a fragile kind of okay, so be careful, you know? It's like that. And you can't really tell beforehand if it's really like a fragile, no, we're doing okay, we're doing all the things, or if it's actually gonna last, and you never know. Which is why I kind of want to say again, if the ADHD is ADHDing, just let it ADHD. If it's productive procrastination, if you really need to do your taxes, but you are literally just stress cleaning your entire house and cleaning your windows, which you haven't done in 5 years, honestly, just let it ADHD, it's fine. Because you'll still kind of feel better afterwards. As long as you're not trying to focus on the guilt that you probably feel for not doing the thing you needed to do. You know, if you can focus on all the side quests you got accomplished, you might feel better.
If you're neurodivergent, where do you fall on the showering spectrum? This isn't a level of dirty to clean. This is a level of how you view your showers. One side of the spectrum, we have this care task takes a lot of effort and is something that like you really have to force yourself to want to do. And the other side is, I've gone outside and now I must shower because I can feel the outside on me. Both have pros and cons. I fall on the second, and it takes up a lot of time.
Definitely somewhere towards the second. Yeah, because yeah, I go to the gym a couple times a week, so I have to shower a lot. But it's even worse with like washing hands. It's surprising to me because I literally have to force myself not to wash my hands every five minutes if I'm somewhere. Like if I'm in the office, especially, like if we would have set desks, it probably wouldn't be so bad, but I can literally feel my hands being dirty. I don't feel like cleaning my desk for 10 minutes every morning when I get to work, but we share desks, so I kind of feel like I want to. And then if I decide not to, I can just feel my hands all day because, you know, so that's even worse. Like hands even worse. The rest, because you're like, nothing else really touches everything. Our arms, baby, literally I have washed like my forearms at work if I'm like wearing a t-shirt or something, because same issue, I touched the desk. So definitely closer to the second. But I love showers and I love bath and everything since I was a kid. But it's still sometimes because I've managed to overstimulate myself with showers a lot, because I love hot showers. I love them and I feel fine when I'm in the shower, but then I get out and then my whole body's tingling and my feet feel like they're boiling and they're like, it feels like needles being pushed into them because they're just too warm, and then they're cooling down and it's just super uncomfortable. So I try to be careful with showers, but I definitely the second.
What do you want to do when you come over? Oh, hey, I want to be silent. You, me, and a total neglect for social norms. Can I get a... in the jet? I'm trying to 100% Night in the Woods, so get over here and be the other half of the parallel play. You either get the info dump or you get nothing. Do you accept these terms and conditions? And if you ask me why I'm so quiet, that's a door. You can exit. I feel like in order for me to talk around other people, there has to be something specific that we're discussing. Like, let's put on a good movie, alright? Let's discuss the characters and where we think the story is going. Unfortunately, that is the time where most people would prefer the quiet. But if we're not digging deep into some topic, I have nothing to talk about. I understand why people do small talk, but hey, guess what? I'm in pain. It always feels like such a forced conversation where there's only a few right answers. And so instead of a conversation, it feels like I'm just pressing generic response buttons and suddenly nothing has any meaning anymore. Oh! And suddenly everything is just shapes. Which brings us back around to why I'm playing Night in the Woods. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
I do accept these terms and conditions because this seems great. Because unless you're like actually interested, just being like, hey, how was your weekend? Like, what did you get up to? Like, what are your plans tomorrow? I don't care. Oh, the weather's been really good. Like, yeah, I know I'm literally in a better mood if the weather is better. But as soon as you come like whining to me because I'm not that affected by the weather, like some people get really big mood swings when the weather changes. But if you're literally sitting there whining that the weather's been so rainy today and that's why you're just tired, I'm sorry, I don't really care. And even like listening to other people have small talk is so uncomfortable because it just all seems so superficial, and I hate it. Because then these people come in and are smiling like, oh my god, how did you spend your Easter? And oh my god, we did this with the kids, and it just seems so fake and uncomfortable, and I hate to be in the same room with it. You know? So no, let's just parallel play. We can bring our headphones. Like if you want to info dump about something, I'll gladly take my headphones off, and then we can go back to ignoring each other, basically. It's fine. Let's do it.
We're autistic. If you ask us to make eye contact with you, we won't.
We're autistic. We have no idea if people like us or if they're just being polite.
We're autistic. We made an entire company out of our niche interest.
We're autistic, but you'll never know because we're experts at masking.
Because, once again, people are kind of bad at noticing when people are autistic, unless you're like the absolute walking stereotype of autism, because people, like most people, have no idea what autism looks like in real life on most people. They can see it on like a 4-year-old child having a meltdown, but like in other circumstances, especially in happy autistic people who aren't having a meltdown, it's a lot harder to tell for a lot of people. And whether or not you're actually like perfect at masking, a lot of people won't really catch it. Like even if they think you're being a bit weird or strange, they won't immediately go, aha, autistic. So yeah, honestly, you know, just FYI. Not that it's bad if people are autistic, because the bad thing is their perception of autism, not the actual autism. You know, but still, worrying about if other people know you're autistic or will see you being autistic is kind of strange, because they just won't. And also making a company out of your niche interest just sounds like either the best idea or the worst idea. Because I've heard both. Like either you're really engaged and just like having the time of your life and it's all going super well, or it can go downhill of you just being so overworked and overboard with it because you don't know how to take a break from it, that you lose all interest in it and it burns you out completely. So kind of trying to be mindful of that and knowing when to take breaks and being able to take a step back is probably a helpful thing to keep in mind, really.
What causes ADHD? How do we cure ADHD? Y'all can stop the research. Y'all can stop the funding. I already got the little bug in my head. I don't need to know any more about it. Do you know what science needs to be doing the research on? How come during the day I am zonked out, no energy, can't do a thing? You know that whole thing of like, oh my God, people with ADHD, like kids on red corridor. Not a zip, false, fake info. I can't do a thing. I am conked out for the entire day. The tiniest, most minuscule task, absolutely not possible. Absolutely not possible. I might as well be asked to run the Boston Marathon and I've never run in my life. Do you know what though? As soon as the sun goes down and the moon comes up, I'm like a werewolf. I will run the Boston Marathon. And I'm going to buy and renovate a house in a 10-hour time period, and I'm going to write a 60-page to-do list, and I'm going to plan on getting every single one of those things done in 5 minutes. Why does that happen? Why does that happen? Because that's what we need to be researching. I'm ready to pack up my life and move to the other side of the world so I can swap time zones around. Because what is going on with that? Because I'm ready to completely redo my life at 2 o'clock in the morning, but I don't think my neighbors are.
But the thing is though, if you move to the other side of the world, give it like 2 weeks until your body adjusted to that time zone, and then watch yourself have the same problem all over again. Like, you could try it for science, but I really don't think it would actually work long term. You know, but it would be kind of cool if we did, because I could just like literally move time zone. I mean, if you're in the US, it might be a little bit easier. You can just literally just move in the country to a different time zone, which still seems kind of weird, but okay. You know, I think I just made it very obvious I'm from Europe, where we have small-ass countries. But that's not the point. Anyways, this is just fair. Like, even mornings are the worst, right? Like, after 1 or 2, it kind of becomes a little bit easier somehow. Like, mornings are the worst. The amount of stress I feel from having to do things in the morning is unreal. Like, at some point it just kind of gets a little bit easier if it's later in the day. But I know what you mean. If I hadn't been so completely exhausted the last few months, I would probably still be up until way too late, probably, considering that I have to get up early. Because, yeah, unless you have neighbors, then you can actually, like, do things. And I'm really excited to go on vacation in a few weeks so I can do things later. And not have to get up in the morning, so not even be awake for the stressful time of the day, really. I'm sorry, I had to bring it up again. Because K-pop, draws in a lot of queer people, but also just neurodivergent people. And I know a lot of neurodivergent people are queer and a lot of queer people are neurodivergent, so it kind of makes sense. But listen, you get fun little colorful photo cards and merch and things to collect. It's kind of perfect. And also, especially if you're kind of standing like a bigger group, you know, that's like more famous, you get a lot of content, so it's kind of perfect. It can also be kind of difficult to keep up with, especially if you're trying to stand multiple groups, but you get a lot of fun things thrown at you, basically, so it's kind of perfect. It's literally kind of perfect.
Alright, my put a finger down, actually neurodivergent edition.
I don't have enough hands.
If you like, you can stop the video now and do a duet so I can see your genuine response. So put a finger down if you plan conversations in your head. Put a finger down if you're both introverted and extroverted. Put a finger down if you overcommit and people please. Put a finger down if you apologize for nearly everything. Put a finger down if you prefer written to spoken communication. Put a finger down if you find it virtually impossible to answer questionnaires. Put a finger down if you always feel guilty for no reason. Put a finger down if you are gender or sexually diverse. Put a finger down if you struggle to start new TV shows or listen to new music. And put a finger down if somebody has taken advantage of your trusting or helpful nature.
Helpful nature, probably. I'm not sure. Because I used to just call myself repressed because I'm kind of have to force myself to talk, so I don't randomly offer help to people, you know, and I'm very distrustful of people, so I don't just like randomly, you know, offer to be nice or anything. So maybe, I'm not sure. But honestly, the people pleasing is still kind of real, because I have gotten way too used to it, and I hate it. And I've literally I've been trying to unwork that for the past few years, because that's unmasking, I know, but just constantly kind of trying to hide little things about yourself or just not mention them, to kind of not do or say what you actually feel like you want to do or say, you know, things like that, for the sake of not causing issues with other people, specifically. Like, I don't go out of my way to help other people, but I kind of go out of my own way, or get in my own way, to avoid confrontations and issues, because I know I have a hard time talking in general. So me in an argument would probably kind of be useless, because I can't talk. Like, I'm very unfazed if someone yells at me, but I still have a hard time formulating my thoughts, especially in German. It's kind of an issue, because I am German. Can I talk in German? No. Does German sound incredibly weird to me? Yes. I don't know why. I mean, it's German, I know, but you know what I'm saying. Anyways, don't take quizzes like these too serious, but it's still kind of fun to do. Like, I know I'm neurodivergent. I know what I am, I have my diagnoses, but it's still kind of fun to do these sometimes.
My wife is neurodivergent.
Understand.
I just told her, me, a neurotypical, when I go to sleep, my brain it powers down right along with my body, and I sleep. And she said, but what's going on in your brain? And I'm like, nothing. It's like creating the dream state, or it's completely it's completely dormant. It's not doing anything.
Nothing?
Nothing. And then she said, the best I can get is
Like, that's it. Like, if I'm not worrying about something, it's just noise. You don't just have noise in your brain?
No, I'll have.
What about the narrator?
The narrator, right?
Or the one that tells you to go check the oven and the door.
Okay.
And did you unplug that thing that might catch fire in the middle of the night?
Of course,
and you lose everything.
Neither of us had any idea that she was neurodivergent when we met. We got married, and we only found out later that she's like this. Every day is...
What if I'm the normal one, Plot? What if I'm the normal one?
No. Actually, well, shit.
Okay, listen, to me, what she's describing sounds normal, because normal is just kind of about perspective. Because yeah, you're so used to what it's like in your own brain and how things feel like to you and look like you and seem like to you, that other experiences or someone else being like, oh no, but my head's completely different, is gonna seem strange to you. And it might feel like you're the normal one, because it's literally just not even a set thing, it's literally just from your experience. Because yeah, what she's describing just seems normal. And it really just seems strange to me that people just don't have a hard time falling asleep. or don't constantly overthink. It's like, oh my god, what if I forgot to lock the door this morning? Did I actually lock my car when I got into the office this morning? Because that's why I literally lock my car 2 or 3 times, which is useless, of course, but I have to do it. And even then, I still sometimes wonder if I actually locked it, you know, but that kind of helps. And like, that seems normal to me. I know it's not the same for a lot of people, but it still seems normal to me, you know? So what if she is the normal one? You know, from your perspective, maybe no. From my perspective, definitely. Maybe not this specific thing, but having to have your blanket a certain way. Having to have a certain kind of pillow or a no pillow, because I honestly hate pillows. People think it's really weird that I sleep without a pillow, but I cannot. I've thrown my pillow across the room, angry, in the middle of the night too many times to even attempt to sleep with a pillow at this point. No, just no. If I'm in a hotel, I will throw the pillow literally somewhere else. That's like the first thing I do. You know, so kind of having to have your blankets or something a certain way. Yes, does this seem like I would overheat and just get irrationally angry and have an even harder time falling asleep? Absolutely. But I kinda get it. Because it seems like it's gonna give you like a little bit of pressure, and that seems nice, but again, just use a weighted blanket because then you're not gonna overheat quite as much as you would in this position.
No, this doesn't feel right. I just can't get comfortable.
Okay, but the T-Rex arm's kind of real. Like, I kind of lay on my stomach, but I still have like the... I have to. Like, that's just, again, it just seems normal to me. And then if that position that you always sleep in suddenly doesn't feel comfortable, and you're just kind of trying to turn around and find a different comfortable position to sleep in, but you know you won't, but you're desperately trying because you know you just need to you know you just need to sleep. I swear to God. Listen, I'm not saying if you have problems falling asleep you're necessarily neurodivergent, but you might still be.
I'm really hoping I can find my people here, but I have recently found out that there are some people in the world that can go into a cutlery drawer and pick either of these spoons. Doesn't matter to them. Now there's clearly a winner spoon here. Is it only me? We've got option number 1 and option number 2. Which one would you pick?
I kind of want to say neither. Looking at these spoons, I don't think either would feel right. Like, if I had to pick, it probably would still depend on what I'm eating. Like, if I'm eating yogurt or pudding, probably the second one. If I'm just using it to stir my coffee, probably also the second one. But if I'm eating anything else, really, I might pick the first one, but they both feel like they would not sit right in my hand. You know, which is also why I have to bring a spoon to work, because our spoons at work, first of all, are gigantic. I don't know who decided it was a good idea to create spoons this big. They're way bigger than a normal spoon you would eat with. And that's basically all they are. There are like 3 spoons in the entire building, basically, that are okay. As for big spoons, you know, because I eat everything with spoons if I can. Really, it's a thing. Forks are worse than spoons, somehow, which is why I eat everything with spoons. And also I'm really glad I don't have spoons like either of these, because there is definitely a right choice. And my lunch will not taste right if I have to use a different spoon. So I'll be taking my spoon to work. and chopsticks to eat snacks in between, because otherwise I would have to touch them with my hand, and then I make everything dirty, and then my hands are dirty, and then it just feels disgusting, so I eat snacks with chopsticks, and people have also looked at me weird for that, but that's okay, I would rather not have dirty hands, you know? Anyways, I had a few more TikTok saved, but I feel like this video is gonna be long enough, so I'll just save them for next time. You know, which is also why I keep forgetting about videos, because I see a tip or something in a video and then I forget about it because I have it on my phone for 1 or 2 months before I do the next video. Like with the pointing at things. But that's okay, we find it again eventually, at some point, you know? So anyways, I hope you enjoyed these TikToks. I hope you feel a little bit called out, because I always do. And I hope you're hydrated. If not, maybe consider catching up to that now. You know, and I'll be back in a few days to remind you again.